In a world where screens are everywhere, children are so easily captivated by all the things on a screen and on TV, and reading sometimes is the last thing that is on their minds to do. But in today's episode, I am going to show you how I taught my oldest son to read, who is now 6, and I'm now teaching my youngest child to read, who is 4. I'm going to show you not only what tools I use, but what are some of my little hacks that I use to make reading more fun and more engaging. The first tool that I want to recommend is an oldie but a goodie. It's called Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons. Basically, this is a very simple but yet effective tool that has taught probably millions of children to read, including my own. And that is the first tool. And you'll see a little clip of my child who's now reading, him reading a story right now.
Come say from the soul is a no good when it's raining.
So that's just a little short little clip and some things that I've used to make even this a little bit more engaging, because to be honest, it is very straightforward. It's not very fluff. But I use things like magnetic animals, and instead of them reading out of the book, I'll write the word on the board and they can choose an animal and they can read with the animal, or this could be like their little buddy, their little reading buddy. So you can use, a magnetic animal and a whiteboard to transfer the content over, or you can use puppets. I've also sang the lesson just to make it more captivating. And then the tool number 2, you want to make sure that you want to have some early readers that can help them practice what they're reading. And so some of the early readers that I found that were super helpful was Bob Books. And then I just got a mix. I have a whole tub dedicated just for early readers. And it's a mix of everything, guys. Hooked on Phonics, Paw Patrol, which I did find that the Paw Patrol early readers at the very beginning was still a little challenging for him, but it was something that kept him motivated to learn to read because he liked Paw Patrol. So those are just, again, so you want to get you some early readers, and I recommend to get a variety, because what's going to captivate your child is the things that they're interested in. So my child was interested in space, and sadly, there wasn't a lot of space books out there, but some of the things that I did to captivate him, when we would do words that were sounding out, I would draw a planet and I would say, okay, let's see what word is on Venus, what word is on Mercury or the sun. And that was a simple way to captivate him. Now, the second way, or the second step that I use to teach my child, particularly my oldest child, to read, and I'm now using this with my younger child, is games. So simple games like, I have a little cookie jar, and I would put either the letter sound, or we have 2 letters and we're sounding out the sound, and they would put it in the cookie jar. Sometimes I'll put like an animal in there and they're like feeding the animal as they're sounding it out. So you could just use a recycled container and feed the cookie jar. I have other videos on this channel about other games. Another DIY one is the slider game, where children, you just use a cup, and then as they're pulling up, they are reading as they go. Super DIY. Don't have to buy anything. And then one of my favorite ones was Mr. Alphabet. And I will show a little slide of that on as I'm talking right now. But Mr. Alphabet, where they're feeding Mr. Alphabet, and he's eating letters and he's eating words. So even if your child is not reading words, they can do the letter sounds as they are feeding Mr. Alphabet, which is one of my favorites. There are tons other games, everything from puzzles to, there's everything, guys. So check it out on the channel. I have a whole playlist of literacy games and things of that nature. Now, if your child does like technology, I do want to put in a plug-in for Khan Academy Kids. I would have to say that's one of my favorite apps. It's totally free and it's very good. I love Khan Academy. It's just very hands-on, very interactive, and I highly recommend that app. You can also include a daily Draw and Write journal where you ask funny or silly questions or just daily questions about things that are important to your child. And when they have drawn something, you can ask them, what did you create? And so here he wrote a tiger. So now you're combining reading, writing, spelling, all the things, all in a simple journal. And last but not least, a bonus tip if you notice that your child is like totally disinterested in reading, these are some bonus tips that I want to encourage you. Number one, stay consistent. Reading should be daily. So even if they're not reading to you, you still read to them. So bedtime, if you're teaching in a classroom, obviously you're going to have, circle time, story time. You also want to read even when you're out and about at the store. Ooh, let's see if we can find the letter A, or let's see if we can sound out the words on the store. And you'll be surprised, children. I remember my child knew Hobby Lobby was a sight word. I don't know if he actually sounded out, but we went there so much. I'm like, oh, let's see what the name of this store is. He's like Hobby Lobby. And it's just fun. And you can do that with everyday things, cereal boxes, magazines, the boxes that their toys come in, and make it in a literacy enriching. So literacy scavenger hunts is what I'm getting at. But stay consistent with them. And then some other key things is incorporate books at all times into the environment. I have a dedicated reading basket. I have one for my oldest son, and this is specifically for him to go to his basket. He has quiet reading time specifically during the school week every day. And he goes to his reading basket, and it's full of a variety of readers that I know that he can read, or books that I know that he can read. And so those are just some quick little tips. Some other fun things too is consider having reading forts, using pillows and blankets. Oh, let's go into our reading fort, or using a tent. Let's read inside of our tent, or reading outside. Those are some other fun ways that you can engage children with reading. I recently posted a video where we created a reading game using a beach ball. That is another fun reading game that you can do. I think the key word is let's do a reading game, or let's read in our reading tent. And so those are just some outside of the box ways to engage children. And again, I have tons other literacy games, but again, if you don't get anything else from this video, check out the Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Lessons, and remember to use reading games and hands-on opportunities to teach children to read. So that's all I have for you today. Go ahead and let me know in the comments, what out of this video are you going to do today? I'll make sure I link all the things that can be linked below, and then let me know what tool, what resource, what tip was most helpful. Hang in there. I will tell you, when I was doing the Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Lessons, there were moments I wanted to give up, but I honestly believe, I prayed about it, and I honestly believe the Holy Spirit was like, keep going, don't give up. And I'm so glad that I didn't, because now my child is reading, and my youngest child is on his way to reading. So anyway, stay consistent, have fun. Remember, reading is not a relay race. It is a marathon, and it should be enjoyable. So let me know in the comments, what is your biggest struggle with reading? Let's talk about it below. Join the club for free. I send you additional resources and tips. My name is Brianna. Thank you for checking in. And if you want to check out one of my books that I have written, it's called The Little Bird Who Wanted to Fly. I would love for you to check it out and let me know what you think. But otherwise, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.